The first snow of November 1939 drifted silently across the Finnish borderlands. In the small village of Rautjärvi, a man named Simo Häyhä adjusted his cap and looked over his field, now buried under pure white. His hands, rough from years of farming and hunting, rested easily on his old rifle. The Soviet invasion had begun. Rumors of tanks rolling across Karelia spread like frost on window glass. Drawing a deep breath, Simo spoke softly to his dog. "It's time." In the days to come, this quiet farmer would become something no one expected, a hunter of men. With patience honed through years in the wilderness, he moved into the white forests. The silence would be his ally, the snow his cloak. As the world's attention turned to great armies and iron machines, one man listened to the whispering ice and prepared to defend his home, one shot at a time. The battlefront near Kola was a world of snow and silence, punctuated by the distant rumble of artillery. Simo nestled deep into a snowbank, breathing through a layer of packed frost to hide his breath. His Mosin Nagant rifle rested steady, its iron sights gleaming faintly. He wore a simple white camouflage suit he had stitched himself, plain but perfect. Across the frozen expanse, Soviet troops moved uncertainly, red outlines against the untouched snow. A single shot cracked through the cold air. One soldier fell, then another. Panic spread, and rumors soon reached across enemy lines. A ghost of the forest was hunting them. Simo Häyhä, once a nameless farmer, was becoming a legend whispered in fear. The White Death. Each sunset brought another tally on his record, yet he felt no triumph, only duty and the heavy silence of the north. The forest at Kola murmured like a living thing, creaking under endless layers of frost. Simo moved silently, his breath hidden, his movements precise. He recalled hunting elk as a boy, his father's lessons echoing softly. Wait until the world itself goes still. That patience had become his greatest weapon. Soviet scouts searched constantly, firing wildly into the trees, but the Finns held fast under men like Captain Arne Juutilainen, the terror of Morocco, who led them with iron resolve. At twilight, Simo shared a moment with comrades near a small campfire, the faint heat barely cutting the cold. "Will we make it through this winter?" one asked. Simo only nodded. The forest offered no promises, only endurance. Every crack, every distant call carried ghosts of those who had fallen. The pines watched it all, ancient and indifferent. By December, the Soviet Red Army had thrown everything it could at the Kola front. Artillery, ski troops, waves of infantry, yet the Finns would not yield. Simo lay prone under a shattered pine trunk, scanning the snow-blanketed field with careful eyes. Every tree, every mound of snow could conceal death. But for him, time slowed to the rhythm of a heartbeat. He lined up his sights, feeling the crisp wind brush against his cheek. One squeeze, and silence returned. Across the front, Finnish morale swelled. "Kolla kestää," they said. "Kolla holds." Still, Simo knew each shot took its toll. The faces of the fallen lingered in his dreams. As the aurora flickered faint green in the night sky, it illuminated a soldier neither proud nor boastful, only enduring, like the frozen land itself. January 1940 arrived colder than memory itself. Temperatures plunged below -40. Even the sound of gunfire seemed to freeze in the air. Simo had now spent weeks without real rest. His face was hard with frostbite, his eyes red from snow glare, yet his hands never trembled. Each morning he rose before dawn, melting snow for water and watching through his scopeless rifle at first light. The Soviets had begun to fear even the whisper of wind through branches. He listened to their hurried shouts echo through the trees. A comrade once asked, "Do you ever miss the farm?" Simo smiled faintly. "I fight so I can see it again." The war around him had slowed to survival, men against nature, as much as men against men, locked in silence beneath the endless snow.
Weeks blurred together, and the line between hunter and hunted faded. Simo stalked through frozen trenches, ghost-like among shattered trees. His rifle never missed. Some days he tallied over 24 enemy soldiers. Yet he took no joy from it, only resolve. He often shared black bread and bitter coffee with fellow snipers, exchanging quiet nods more than words. One new recruit asked, "How do you see them before they see you?" Simo replied, "I don't look for men. I look for movement in the snow." His philosophy of stillness turned battle into art. Even Soviet snipers sent against him vanished in the drifts. Word spread through both armies, the White Death watches. In the silence of his scope's absence, the man and the landscape became one, both unyielding, both eternal in their patience.
By late February, Soviet forces struck back with massive fury. Shells rained upon the forest in unending thunder. Trees splintered, snow turned to mist. Simo crouched in a shallow depression, heart steady amidst chaos. He could feel the heat of explosions, smell burned pine. Through the haze, shapes advanced. He fired and moved, ghost-like, never staying in one place. His comrades fought valiantly, outgunned but unbroken. The sky itself seemed aflame as he reloaded by instinct. "They'll break through," someone shouted, but Simo's calm voice cut through the noise. "Not while we stand." For every inch the Soviets gained, the Finns made them pay dearly. When night finally fell, the battlefield lay silent, except for the creaking of wounded trees. In that silence, Simo lay awake, counting not victories, but survivors.
On March 6, 1940, fate struck back. A Soviet bullet, an explosive round, tore across Simo's face near the upper jaw. Darkness fell instantly. His comrades thought he was dead, carried him bleeding through snow to medics. For days he drifted in unconsciousness as the war raged on without him. When he awoke weeks later, his face was bandaged beyond recognition. The winter war would soon end. He learned the treaty had been signed, the borders altered, Finland's survival purchased with blood and courage. Though his career lasted only 100 days, his confirmed count exceeded 500 enemies. Still, Simo spoke little. His only remarks, "I did what I was told, nothing more." In that quiet humility lay the heart of a man who never sought fame, only to defend his home beneath the northern sky.
When peace returned, the forests of Karelia were scarred but enduring. Simo returned to Rautjärvi, his old farm waiting beneath a blanket of quiet snow. His face bore the marks of war, yet his spirit remained unbroken. Villagers called him a hero, but he would wave their praise aside with a modest smile. Life slowed once more to the rhythm of seasons and soil. He hunted deer again, not men, and the rifle rested on his wall instead of in his hands. Some evenings, travelers would ask about the White Death. Simo's gaze would drift toward the distant tree line. That was another lifetime, he'd say softly. The land had kept its promise. Its sons had fought, endured, and returned home. Among the birches and frost, he found peace in the very silence that once hid his war.
Years later, historians would still whisper of the man who changed the balance of a war with a rifle lacking a scope. Simo Häyhä's story became legend, a symbol of endurance, talent, and humility. He never boasted, never sought recognition. He represented something rare, a man wholly united with his homeland, defending it through unimaginable odds. The White Death was not born from hatred, but from love of peace, of home, of silence unmarred by invaders' boots. As snowfall returned each winter, Finn spoke his name in reverence. Every tree at Kola still whispered in the cold wind, carrying his memory. The world had seen empires rise and fall, but in the frozen north, one man's steady aim reminded all that courage needs no applause, only purpose.